Welcome to Tracking the Wolves. This week we have a very special guest that's going to talk to us today about the United Way and the Day of Champions at Northern State University. Executive Director of the United Way of Northeast South Dakota, Tom Nagnich. Tom, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, Josh. I'm glad you invited me, and thanks for what you did last weekend.
Appreciate it. Well, can you talk about a little bit of history of the Day of Champions and where it started and to where it is now? And my first year being here, it's a great event, and obviously the numerous charities and different organizations that Northern helped during the day. Kind of talk about where that started and where the idea came from.
Okay, it was about 11 years ago. Well, in fact, this was our 11th annual Day of Champions. And 11 years ago, Coach Heupel came to me and with an idea, and which was the Day of Champions. And we talked a little about it, and we decided, let's go with it. And so that's where it started, and anyway, every year since then, we've been out in the community, and Northern, it started actually with the football team. And then later on, Ole expanded it to the whole athletic department. And so we've been out there every year, and, we just get just a lot of good PR from that, and Northern does too. And we truly appreciate everything that Northern does, because we do the work that we're doing is for nonprofits or schools or communities. And like I say, some of the nonprofits that we're helping actually are so inundated with their work that they don't have time to do the projects they want to do during the year or even daily. And so what you're doing is really helping, and we truly appreciate everything you do.
Well, how does an organization contact the United Way and kind of talk a little bit about the United Way and what you guys do? I think a lot of people hear the name, but what exactly do you do, and especially with an event like this, to coordinate and making sure that the right people are connected and the right jobs are put on a list? How do you start that process?
Well, we actually start in January, and we talk about Day of Champions, which is always the actually the fourth week in April. So you set the date, here at Northern from when the last spring ball gets over, and then what we do is we have an application form, and we ask our agencies, the schools, communities to fill out the application form, and then we have a deadline, usually the end of March. And once we have that deadline, then what we do is we take all the applications, present them to Northern, and Northern looks at them to see if they can fulfill all of them. I don't think we've ever turned down an application, and there's some guidelines to it. We put some guidelines, and we actually have to look a little further into some hazardous stuff too now, but that's how it comes about. And then Northern looks at them, and then we get together and go from there,
It's really a great tradition. Being new here, you can see the impact that it has on the student athletes. I mean, the organizations obviously benefit, but the student athletes, where they go there not really expecting, not really sure what to expect here, but then when they leave, you can see the kind of impact that has on them, where they can see different organizations, what they do, and really the people in need in the community.
Right. And I shared with you like Saturday, those athletes actually bond with a lot of maybe some kids or that have had trouble in their life, and that's really really important. And but we've had a lot of good feedback about just how hard they work. And they really get energized early in the morning, and you saw it, and then later in the afternoon it wears off. So we kind of like to put all the energy to the morning and try to get as much done and get done as quick as we can. And I think this year we were done probably close to about 2:30 in the afternoon, but we started at 8 o'clock, and so it was a good day.
Now, one of them that is my first experience, go up to Frederick. Now, Frederick is probably the flag bearer, I guess, if you'd say, for this whole day. and really the community rallying around this event and really getting the entire community out there. And so you got a little town like Frederick, you know, that's 20 some miles away, and it's just amazing to see those people up there,
Right.
and the teamwork that happens there. I mean, talk about Frederick and when your experience of working with Frederick.
Well, I think this is probably about the 5th year that we've gone to Frederick. And what happens there is the whole community comes out. And you saw, you know, when we went into the community hall, that, you know, they all come out, you know, and take part, and they work right alongside the athletes. And it's just a big feed. I mean, at noon, you saw what they fed them, and it was pretty nice, you know. But like I say, Frederick looks forward to that every year, just a kind of beautification of the community. And a lot of times when we can do outdoor work, which we didn't get outdoor work done this year, it was really tough because of the snow. But they go into the park and they might clean, branches out of the park and mowing and all that kind of stuff, beautification. But we did get a lot done. We still had a lot to do in that community, and like I say, they really look forward to it, and I know they appreciate all that Northern does for that community every year. And like I say, it's really kind of a tie, because there's the kids, you know, they really follow those kids during the year in their sports and that. So, you know, they like it.
And for the record, Frederick absolutely has a sweet tooth. I think they had more brownies and Rice Krispie bars there than anybody. So they know how to cook up there.
That's right. That's right. But you know, one of the things that, you know, we should talk about today is, you know, all of this wouldn't take place without some of the sponsors we have. Mm-hmm. And Sertoma has sponsored for 11 years. Thrivent Financial for Lutheran has sponsored for 11 years. In the past, this year, ID Bailey came in and helped sponsor, you know, with materials if they needed, those agencies needed anything. They came in, and then we also had Northwestern Energy gave you 2 $500 scholarships. You know, that really meant a lot. And then Twist Cone, with all their ice cream sales for that day, that came to about $1,200, you know. And then we had Pepsi, and we had Rideline, and Subway, you know. And so we can't, and then Salvation Army with water and that. But we can't thank those people enough for all they do, because it takes a lot to feed them. Mm-hmm. I think we had 41.5 feet of subs. Wow, that's what we had.
Yeah, I think that speaks a lot to the kind of the thing that makes this part of the country unique, where you have that everybody's kind of all in with the community, and there's so much support there with all the different organizations, but especially something like the Day of Champions, where, you know, there's these young students that are here, they're trying to develop, grow, you know, not only academically but socially, and having that social responsibility. And then for these businesses to support this organization or this day in conjunction with the United Way, I think it's pretty special.
Well, I think one of the things that came out of it is when we went to New Beginnings, and Joey over there, he works for them now, but he was an athlete here, and so he bonded with that organization. He must have liked what he saw that first year, because he was doing Day of Champions, and now he's employed by that organization. So, you know, it was kind of interesting finding that.
And for the record, Joey, Georgia football is not very good, so we got to give Joey a shot there, because he's a big Georgia football fan. So
that's right.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, Tom, is there any other updates on the United Way front? I mean, in terms of people, if they want to get involved in United Way, what's the best route to do that?
Well, we always look for volunteers. Anyone that wants to volunteer during our campaign, or we have things throughout the year, you know, and we're already kind of looking at maybe a second Day of Champions in the fall. But anyway, if anyone's interested, or, you know, we will surely find something for them to do in the community. And like I say, we do support 19 agencies with 45 programs. You know, so most of the people in the community are tied to a United Way agency in some way or another. It might be through a child care, it might be through Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you know, it might be through the Y, you know, the Boys and Girls Club, Salvation Army, whatever, you know. But like I say, we do have a lot of good agencies, and we're out there just to support them every year.
Well, good. Well, next year, as Tom said, we're looking at doing this year a fall Day of Champions event, and then also doing one in the spring. So it's going to be a pretty big deal, hopefully, to get more organizations involved, and really encourage them to contact Tom, United Way, if there's interest in contributing and getting on a list to start thinking about next fall in the spring as well. So, anything else you want to add, Todd?
Well, I think they want to. They're showing a few things here, on the tape. And here's the Salvation Army. They retrofitted their whole store. And if you can, you see what they're doing. They actually did that in 3 hours. And the major over there said it was unbelievable with the work that they did, and it really made room for a lot more merchandise to be put out. And that's really important because that helps supplement Salvation Army budget. And then this here's at Safe Harbor, and same thing there. They had a garage, and they have a lot of stuff there that they
looks like Mike Bergen's trying to do some manual labor. I don't know if putting up some shelves there. It looks like they're working hard.
I don't know if he's licensed with a hammer or not, but but anyway, he tried to work. We have to give him credit.
He did.
But anyway, look at basketball coach there. Paul. It's good to see him work.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they did a great job over there, and it just really helped a lot in those people. And this is it down in their food pantry, and they were trying to reorganize that and sorting clothes and everything else. There was just a lot of organizing that they needed done. They just don't have the time. This is at New Beginnings. Remember, they were painting over there. They did shampooing, carpet, painting. They did that whole kitchen. They stripped and waxed that whole kitchen area, and that was a big kitchen. And then 2 dorm rooms. They were, actually, they weren't dorm rooms. Well, they are, I think. Where the girls and the boys sections there, and that really helps over there because like I say, that staff is so busy they just don't have the time. But that really turned out really nice. And they just got a lot done. So
looks like we're getting a little mop ready there to mop the floor. I think there's a lot of mopping going on and painting. I think painting probably is a common theme. A lot of painting going on.
These guys, I think, they're ready for military life. Looks like KP would be good for them, but.
Gary Gall there, one of the strength conditioning GAs. Looks like he's got a spotless floor there. So
yeah.
You got to clean the
and
carpets.
Their carpets, they got to clean their carpets and that kind of stuff. But it just made a big difference. You could see it, when we first went in, and then what it looked like when we left. It just was just a whole new place. This here is still New Beginnings, I think. I think
we're transitioning to Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, Boys and Girls Club. Yep. Yeah. And they went in there and they actually just really cleaned house.
Yeah, and I think Coach Dosh mentioned he dumped quite a bit of pine sol on the floor there. So I think it's got a pine sol smell there.
It really smelled good, though.
It smelled really clean. Yes.
And then there's kitchen. I know that right there they're painting the floor in the kitchen. And like I say, that means a lot to those people because if you ever go over there when all the kids are there, it's deafening. With all those kids, and they come in about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I always tell Mike, I says, how do you do it? And I would need earplugs. But anyway, it was really nice what they did here, just to help them out and get things freshed up. And
look at those smiles. Yep.
Yeah.
I think you really saw that, Tom, going around the different places. Everyone was really positive. They really had a great experience. You could really tell it was genuine.
Yeah. And everyone was working. There wasn't any slackers at all. Now look at, like I say, the vans and cleaning the vans, which they don't have a lot of time to do, but they went in there and cleaned the inside and shampooed and cleaned the inside and then cleaning the windows and that. This is at the Y. That's one, a little on the high side of it. They were cleaning windows, and those windows hadn't been cleaned.
There, yeah.
I don't think Steve said they hadn't been cleaned since they moved in. And power washing the pool area. And just the slides and everything, just a lot of cleanup, that staff doesn't get a chance to do every year or every day.
And the Y started them out right. They had donuts and some goodies to get some energy going in the morning. So they. And I think it was important for the organizations to really talk about who they are, what they do, what populations they serve, and kind of educate the student athletes.
And then, like I said, the way they greeted them and everything, it was just kind of get to know them a little. One of the agencies told me the other day that one thing that really worked out, a lot of athletes didn't really like the donuts, but one of them went to breakfast pizza, and they said they really liked that. So some of them took that down as noted that that's what they would do next year. There's Budik. He's giving instructions, and like I say, they were done there, I think, by noon. But you know, we did have a few cancellations because of the weather, and we did shift a few people around. So, but like I say, it all turned out. I mean, we still got a lot of work done.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it, especially a place like the Y, where you go in there, you can see the noticeable difference between the equipment before and after. You know, really important.
I was always curious. This here's at the community theater, and you know, we saw that whole room full of lumber. You know, steps and little pieces of lumber and everything. And I was just curious if I haven't talked to the community theater people to see if they got all that moved there, but you saw the room, it was full of lumber. And then they're sorting clothes and fabric and everything down here. That whole lower part of that building is just full of uniforms or
any
things that you
costume
wear.
you could ever imagine.
Every costume you could ever imagine, that's right. And hats and shoes and purses, and so it's just amazing what they keep and that, and so. But like I say, I see they're hauling that stuff out. I don't know where they took it to, if that was a storage unit or wherever. But they were busy. So.
Yeah, I think, especially the community theater, you can see that something like that wouldn't have gotten done if it wasn't for this, because there's just so much lumber in there and so much. You need that 10 or 15 people to get in there and get after it. And I think that's what you can see there. So
anyway, we got to see a few things that were done, and like I say, but we really want to thank Northern and the athletes, you know, for everything that they did. It's truly amazing, you know, what the work that was done.
Well, thank you for setting it up, and thank you to Terry Holmes. Terry and Tom worked together. Terry's our senior women's administrator at Northern. She worked with Tom and getting everything organized, and a special thank you to our student athletes and our coaches. We had a lot of coaches there. We had 150 student athletes, so a great representation of Northern. And then, as Tom said, this fall we're look to do another Day of Champions with our track and field, baseball, softball, and some other student athletes that may have missed it because of competition this year. So, again, a great event for the community, and something that's been a tradition here for 11 plus years. That Ken Heupel started way back in the day, so it's great to see that tradition alive and well here at Northern and Aberdeen. So thank you again, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank everything you do for the United Way and for this community. We appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and go Wolves.